Married men, did you still find your wives attractive when they were pregnant? I found my wife to be beautiful when she was pregnant. I found my wife to be beautiful when she had 2 bone marrow transplants and lost her hair and was hooked up to machines for months on end. I did not want to. Nor did I think she wanted to have sex with me during those times. I felt zero desire to cheat on her. If I get that horny, I can take care of myself. I don't understand other men's lack of self-control and desire to copulate continuously to justify their existence. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. One of the sexiest pictures I have of my wife is 3 days before she gave birth. She's standing in the kitchen in just a long-sleeve work shirt that comes down mid-thigh with nothing else on. She's turned 3/4 around and looking back at me. Whenever she worried about not being sexy while pregnant, I show her that picture. My wife's 3rd pregnancy was rough as hell. She had every problem going. We had terrible service from the frequent stay at the hospital. Our community midwife was useless. To the point I sacked her off and became my wife's carer in a sense. When she eventually did fall asleep on occasion, I used to watch her sleep, and Christ, she looked so beautifully peaceful. I also respected her so much more after this. She'd been through hell and back. And that was just the pregnancy. The birth gave me PTSD. It was violent. She was induced a few weeks before her due date. We were late getting to the hospital because we opted to bang that morning. Sharing my experience as the pregnant one. While I somehow look back on the time fondly, I was a miserable pregnant person. So nauseous. 24/7. So sick I wore the look of disgust on my face. I was so waif thin at the start BC I couldn't eat anything and had so little energy I couldn't walk. At times. Then by the end eating was the only thing that kept me from being sick. So I looked like a whale. I was in absolute survival mode both pregnancies. Sex was literally the last thing in the universe that was on my mind. I just needed to power through and have healthy children. Fast forward to after the pregnancies, I nursed exclusively both times. For those who don't know, nursing produces hormones for a woman that pretty much, generally, make her want nothing to do with sex. Nature's way of ensuring all her bodily resources go to nourishing her current baby and not preparing for another. I went from pregnant to nursing for 15 months. To pregnant to nursing for 15 months. You can do the math. But my husband got about 12 months of fun time throughout this entire adventure. Meanwhile, I was put through the ringer. It's hard to have 2 kids back to back like this. According to my loving husband, he was just as attracted to me the entire time as he ever was, and has often echoed the sentiments of the men here, telling me there is nothing sexier than a woman carrying your baby. He was respectful of what I was going through at the time, and sexually frustrated, but he took care of business on his own when I didn't help in other ways, and was very patient, understanding fully the physiological reasons why sex was not on the table for me. All that to say, I can see how some relationships suffer during these trying times. I did my best, but I was pretty preoccupied with 2 small children. The story ends well though. We are pretty happy in this department now that the kids are a little older. You're going to find that no one will actually admit to want to cheat on their wives. Fact is, pregnancy can be a hard and stressful time for anyone, men and women. Sometimes this can result in cheating. Many times it won't. Sometimes men don't find their wives attractive. Sometimes women don't find themselves attractive. Sometimes this leads to sexual frustration and cheating. Sometimes it won't. Sue Hot would get her pregnant again if I could face the sleepless nights after the birth. All of the comments here are so beautiful and heartwarming. Allow me to offer an opposing perspective. There are absolutely men out there that find pregnancy revolting and unnatural. Like my ex-husband. When I was pregnant with our first, he told me at about 5 months along that he just couldn't get it up for me and he was going to stop trying. My second pregnancy he cut off at 4 months. In his eyes I was fat, and as he told me regularly throughout our relationship, he would never tolerate a fat wife. As I grew bigger, he never wanted to touch my stomach, feel the baby move, talk to my stomach, etc. He once saw my belly moving in bed one morning and asked me to roll over because it was disturbing him. He actually said the words, "It's unnatural to have something moving around inside you that you can't control." I guess he saw me as a fat, parasite-infested body. My pregnancies were the saddest, loneliest months of my life. Guys, if you get your wife pregnant and something about it unsettles you, lie. Tell her she's beautiful. Touch her and hug her and do your best to be intimate with her. All her friends will have husbands like the others replying here. Can't keep their hands off their pregnant wives and your wife will just feel gross. Good men don't cheat on their pregnant partners. Needy little manchildren do. I'm pregnant with our second baby. My husband cannot keep his hands off of me while I'm pregnant. I found my wife to be extra hot while pregnant. I've looked at prego porn before and it did nothing for me. But my wife, pregnant. Damn. A lot of guys just cheat constantly no matter what's going on in their relationship. They're so could be doing everything right and it would affect their cheating by 0%. They aren't too hard to spot usually. If your man is constantly worrying about his appearance, this is not a great sign from what I see. Every pusshound I know spends more time on their hair than their wives do. We have been together for nearly 30 years and married for the thick end of 20. No children though. Our choice. Do I still find her attractive? You bet. Would I find her attractive if she were pregnant? Absolutely. If I were to not find her attractive while pregnant, then one must question whether I really found her attractive in the first place. I had sex with my wife throughout her pregnancies. We were just thrilled to be having a baby. Yes, very much so. I couldn't really fathom cheating in our relationship. But it also doesn't shock me that is a somewhat common time to cheat for others. There were phases of pregnancy where she was not the most pleasant company, due to feeling ill or other. The relationship and routine starts to change hopefully. And in my case, for the better, but it being a point of strain and contention is like not exactly difficult to envision for some people. I also suspect that some of it has to do with some men, not all, freaking out about the huge change that is happening. Added responsibility and expectations, not being the entire focus of your partner's attention, shifting roles, etc. It's a huge change, and I figure that for some it could lead to a midlife crisis type of reaction. Shit and meatball. Man, there is nothing sexier than a woman carrying your own baby. Nothing, my friend. Is it that expectant women hate sex, or it's the men who don't find them attractive anymore? Or maybe they're just cheating man-baby assholes. Those men are total losers who don't deserve their wives and family. Most men I know that cheated on a partner while she was pregnant did so because she wasn't putting out. Not that that excuses it or anything, but that's what I've noticed. When my daughter was baking, my ex-partner had a high sex drive, so I never had that problem.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.